Success for a school is something that's very hard to capture. Not even when they graduate, but until more or less 6-8 years after the young men from Northridge have graduated. Are they productive members of society? Do they love their faith and practice it? And are they on the path to becoming husbands and great fathers? And you don't really know until after they've graduated. And what we're trying to do here in this video is nevertheless see that are our graduates on that path.
I think Northridge really teaches you, it allows college to be kind of a launch pad to discovering what kind of man you want to be and what vocation you might have, because you're grounded in virtues and faith. And that really helped me discover, what do I want out of my life as a whole, not just, outside of the career aspect. And if I didn't go to Northridge, I doubt I would be thinking about that. Honestly, a lot of people I see around here are only thinking about their career. They don't really think about their life, honestly, all that much.
I teach a very large section in the fall semester of Introduction to Theology, 255 students. And this last semester I had 3 Northridge guys. All 3 of these guys were prepared to take on college-level theology from a pretty demanding professor, and to do so with grace and skill. And I see that in the way that our Northridge students are willing to engage, at least the study of theology in my classroom, and it makes me very proud of them.
My name is Porter Jihad. I currently attend Hillsdale College, and I am intending on majoring in politics.
I can spot a Northridge student a mile away. I have been in academia for over two and a half decades. And over the course of many years, I've met many students from different schools at conferences, on many campuses that I've lectured at. You'll always see a Northridge student, and they're very prominent in wherever they are. There's something about the way they carry themselves that really, I think, evidences the moral seriousness and the character formation that you are so good at. There's something in the tradition and the Catholic formation that you do that, ask Porter. I mean, he was in my class, and midway through the first week, I said, "You must be from Chicago." And he said, "Yeah." I said, "Did you go to Catholic school?" And he said, "Yeah." I said, "Did you go to Northridge?" And he fell out of his chair. I didn't know. And he said, "How did you know?" I said, "Porter, if I taught at Northridge, he would be my ambassador. And you should really be proud of him. He reflects very well in your school."
I believe that there are a lot of things in Northridge that really helped me to become the man I am today. It really taught me grit. It taught me resilience. It taught me to be proud of my faith. It taught me to be unapologetically Catholic. It taught me that you should be proud of your moral character. That's something very important, and that's not something I don't think I would get without Northridge.
Someone recently mentioned to me that Porter was asked by Dr. Arnn to meet with VIPs, and I wasn't really shocked by it when I heard he's meeting people like Mike Pence and other visitors that might be coming to campus, because he's a good role model for the school and an example of kind of what a good Hillsdale student would look like.
Porter has a positive impact wherever he goes. It's not even a question of what he's going to impact once he leaves. It's evident from the way he carries himself. There's something about his character that just simply glows, and I can already see that impact on others. It was funny, over the course of the semester, students who look up to him and respect him started dressing a little bit better, sitting up a little more straight. That might appear to some to be just simply superficial, but it's not. It's a reflection of his own self-respect, which is extremely rare. Anything he puts his mind to, he will excel and exceed anybody's expectations. But along the way, I think he'll have an even more important effect on people's moral character, because he's just such a person of integrity.
My name is John Rahimi. I'm a seminarian for the Archdiocese of Chicago, and I'm studying for the priesthood at Mundelein Seminary. In seminary, you have this thing called a teaching parish. So I get to go into the school, and I get to teach about vocations to the 6th graders. I get to teach about scripture to the 8th graders. I get to talk about First Communion to the 2nd graders. I get to go to the RE kids and teach them about what it means to be a gift to the world, what it means to have a vocation. In the parish, I get to work with the staff. Every day I go into the office, I get to meet with the ladies who work there who are incredible. They share their own stories, their experiences of working in a parish, some of them for 30 years. It's an amazing thing, and being in the parish is kind of opened my eyes to the great gift of the priesthood and what the Lord is really calling me to, and that he sees me and he wants this for me. This is something that he has desired for me, and I want to respond to that and say, yes, I want it to.
I first met John Rahimi in the fall of 2017. He was a senior at the University of Illinois in Urbana-Champaign, and he was living at Newman Center. So I would come down as vocation director, and just basically I'd come down every month and I'd text John and say, hey, I'm on campus, and he'd say, let's talk. And so that's how the friendship started. Any of the Northridge grads that I've met who have gone there over the past 15 to 20 years, I can almost spot it because there's this kind of like, in a positive sense, there's a self-confidence. It's like, I kind of know who I am, I know what I believe, and what you see is what you get. It's just kind of like, this is me.
So because of Northridge and the education that I was given there, I learned what it means to put hard work into my classes, but also to be curious about what I'm learning, to want to dig into a text, to want to learn some new insight into scripture, into history. It's all amazing things that I learned from teachers who wanted to push us harder and harder in the way that we write and the way that we think, not settling for just memorizing facts, but to think about why something is the way that it is. And now as a student here at Mundelein, when I'm digging into theology or philosophy or church history, I get to apply those things in my writing and in my speeches and my presentations.
I think it's just fascinating trying to follow Jesus today as a Catholic. I'm 15 years a priest. I've seen a rise in confusion and in fear. It's not clear how to navigate what's going on in our culture. So what's difficult is when we don't have the courage to just talk to people, to ask the questions, to try and pursue the truth that is there. And that's something, again, John, he is always asking those questions. He always has the courage to say, well, what do you think about this? And then to share where he's coming from.
John is someone who's not afraid to speak the truth when it needs to be said. John has a deep integrity about him where he really lives from his convictions, and it makes him a great leader and will make him a great leader in the future, because I think the world and the church right now need people like that, people who aren't afraid to say what they know needs to be said, people who aren't afraid to do what's right.
Part of my spiritual formation at Northridge came the summer of my junior year going into my senior year. Almost done with Northridge, but I was still waiting to figure out, what does God want me to do? I was at a leadership camp that a lot of us at Northridge go to over the summer. And during the day they pray a rosary around a little pavilion. And I was just sitting there watching some of the counselors, men who were teachers at Northridge, pray the rosary. And for the first time I thought to myself, why don't I do that? I could be like them and start to take my faith seriously. And it was that night for the first time that I ever went into a chapel in front of Jesus in the Eucharist and asked him, what do you want me to do with my life? And the only reason I did that was because of the example and the witness of people from Northridge.
My name is Joe Savantos. I'm studying human biology with a concentration in neuroscience and medical ethics, and I'm a student at Stanford University.
Joe is very clearly going to have an impact on the world that's very positive. He will do diligent professional service and also radiate the kindness that's at the heart of his character. And also, he will stir and spur the people around him to bring their thoughts and their actions into deeper alignment with fundamental principles of belief, which is a very positive thing and a very deep need of our current culture.
So now that I'm in college, I'm really building on the things I learned at Northridge by diving deeper. So with this bioethics club starting at Northridge, I've taken courses on medical ethics, which I'm also now TAing. I've done research in these areas. These are sorts of things that I learned at Northridge, and then when I got here, I was able to really just go full speed ahead and find the things that I really was interested in.
Joe is an incredibly reliable person. He really shows up for people. And that's not even just me. I mean, it's one thing to be really reliable to your own girlfriend, but I see this with everyone he meets. He's part of so many different organizations and helps found things and organize a lot of people. I mean, he organized upwards of 100 Stanford kids to fly to DC for the March for Life, a mission trip with so many different people, and starting this debate society that's going super well.
So the Girard Society is this debate society that ultimately its goal is helping Stanford students with truth, friendship, and the art of rhetoric. So, it's public speaking, but it's guided towards finding some sort of objective truth. And it is also like a community of friends, which I think is one of the most important parts of it.
It's just contagious intellectuality that people, they start a small group and now people are just flowing in. There are some of their meetings of 60 or 70 people at them. That's really an accomplishment, and obviously it's a service to the Stanford community.
So Joe asked me out and we went on our first date, and I don't think he included this in his interview because it's a little more embarrassing for him, but initially we went on a first date and I said no, but then this is where I have to give Northridge and its curriculum a lot of credit, because he had read Anna Karenina in high school, but we were both familiar with the example of Konstantin Levin asking Kitty out proposing the second time. So it sort of inspired him, like, I really like this girl. She's told me no, but I know that we would work, so I'm gonna ask her again. And I also had just read this book, so this was sort of an example that I had fresh in my mind, and later he asked me out that second time, and I was more sure.
One teacher that was the most influential, I would have to say Mr. Ree. That man really just helped us with life decisions. He was always happy to sit down, to talk about different things going on in our life, to give us advice, to give us guidance. I mean, he wasn't afraid to tell us we're doing something wrong. Whether it's in school or out of school, he would always, sit down and say, hey, probably shouldn't be doing this, or, let's change that. And I still talk to him. I mean, I called him up maybe 4 months ago with another life advice question.
In the future, I would like to send my kids to Northridge. The main reason why is I didn't really have a choice in going to Northridge, but looking back on it, if I did, I would have chosen to go there 100 times out of 100. I would not have given it up for the world.
If it weren't for Northridge, I wouldn't be here. Certainly. I know that for a fact. Northridge pushed me to do better and to push myself further. And I've been able to. And it's pretty clear. That I would not be where I am today if it weren't for Northridge.
So when I look at Northridge today, the phrase that comes to my mind is a beacon of hope. This is a place in the midst of a world that needs good men, that is offering formation and education to help men become the people that God has called them to be. And it's right there in the motto, right? Your young men will see visions, and it's giving them a vision for life and for faith that they can actually follow and can get excited about. And it makes me excited to see men who want to pursue that, the teachers, the faculty, the staff, everyone there on mission to service the men of this world who need to be the leaders that we need today.
I think my future family, definitely my kids are going to go to Northridge. That's a given without being said. I think that I really see our home being a place that is warm and open. I want to have this sort of inviting place where people can come in and really feel like they are loved, so that they can, in some way kind of grow closer to Christ just by that kind of presence of Christ within the home.
So my vision for my future family, I would just like to raise kids who suppose they care. They have a strong moral compass. They're confident in their faith. They're confident in really who they are, and they know right from wrong. They can think independently, and they have a drive. They want to change the world. They want to make the world better. They want to serve their family. They want to serve their country, and they want to serve God most of all. That would be my ideal family.
The Northridge education, it's been the most important education I've received so far. Even more important than my engineering degree, because it's taught me more about life.